I was born to a farming family west of Ogden, Utah. My birth name is Susan Hawley. These are my parents, Sarah Delores Stewart and Vernal Hawley. Living on a farm was heaven to me. I loved plants, animals, and being outside in nature. My family owned a 350-acre farm. My father worked the farm, and my grandfather, my uncle, ran the family dairy, the Hawley Dairy. This is my grandfather, Horace, who was born in 1890. He looks a lot like my dad. This is my mission photo. The hair didn't last past the mission home. Long hair wasn't allowed back in those days. I served in the New Zealand North Mission from 1972 to 1973, and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. I married my best friend Todd in 1975 in the Salt Lake Temple, and he took me to faraway places. We lived in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. Our son Jay was born in Kuwait in 1979, and our son Jordan was born in Saudi in 1981. This is Shannon and Ryan, our two oldest, enjoying the camels in our front yard, which was a pasture. Here they are with a friendly Bedouin on the beach. Here we are having a picnic in the wadis, which is a Bedouin term for oasis. Notice how the Arabs use a piece of pita bread for a plate. They gather and eat chicken and rice with their fingers. They eat on the floor in their homes in the same way. No dishes to wash. Here we are on the top of the Swiss Alps. We traveled many places with our 5 children. We lived in the Netherlands and learned the language a bit. Our daughter Jenna was born there. We lived in England, where my family and I visited many of the villages where my ancestors were born. This is the countryside of Grasmere, where my mother's family is from. This is what things look like now at this stage of my life. Since this photo, we have added 2 more grandchildren to our family. Family is everything. Todd and I have served as ordinance workers for the past 7 years in the Sacramento Temple. Things that I love. I love photography. I took this in Pleasant View, Idaho, on the property of my second great-grandparents, Tally Essen Hughes and Jane Mason. They were both from Wales. I love to travel. I took this photo in Venice. I love gardening. These are my clematis. I love cycling. These are the lily pads in bloom on the bike trail. I love the ocean. I love to golf. I love the temple. I love tulips. Okay, stop. There are too many things that I love. Moving on. Now for the really boring part without pictures. I started volunteering at the Sacramento Family History Center when my youngest child was in kindergarten. Nearly 20 years later, I was still there. I loved, and still do love, to problem solve so much that I soon learned a lot about research in many different countries. I was on the board of the directors. I trained the staff. I organized the semi-annual seminars. I lectured in the greater Sacramento area. I started getting clientele. I taught adult education classes. I worked with Ancestry.com as one of their experts. And then in 2008, sort of backwards, I graduated from BYU with a Bachelor of General Studies and a family history emphasis. Since then, I have enjoyed many clients and fun projects that have taken me into the records of countries like Italy, Mexico, Poland, Hungary, and Ireland, as well as many others. I look forward every day to an email from a new client and another puzzle to solve. When I was 17, I opened my mother's book of remembrance. I loved all the photos of my ancestors and the different clothing and hats they wore. I started my own book that year and copied all of my parents' pedigree charts and group sheets. This is my second great-grandmother, Susan Blackmore. She was born in the year 1809 in Canterbury, Devon, England. She was a seamstress and a grocer. I learned these things from the English census. I only recently found this photo because it was shared by one of my distant cousins on Family Search with Family Tree. I love technology. This is my second great-grandfather, John Tucker, who married Susan Blackmore. All the photos that you saw in the iMovie preview were my ancestors. Every day I search for hidden treasure. Every day I make someone very happy with my findings. And virtually 99% of my clients are not even members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but they are driven. Every day the spirit of Elijah is at work. I love family history. Let's begin the adventure together.